Welcome to Recently Logged, where we still don't know what the Half-Blood Prince is.
Hey guys.
Hola. Wow.
I woke up like 2 minutes ago.
2 minutes? Have you been timing it, Micah? 120 seconds?
No, but it feels like 2 minutes ago. But yeah, I'm gonna try to be awake for this one.
Here we go.
Today we're talking about good old Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah. It's a movie.
It's a movie I happen to like quite a bit.
Yeah, pretty good. I guess we went on a 1-week hiatus and then just kind of came back with a cop-out episode.
Did we? I'm so confused on our schedule of like release because you said we missed something, but I don't remember.
Yeah, no, we went on a 1-week break for Father's Day.
Oh, right.
And then we put out the what we watched, and now we're back with hopefully better episode art this time because the last episodes kind of sucked.
I don't know. We actually got a compliment for it.
Oh, wow.
So
Who'd have thought? Not me.
Apparently.
But I guess we can just go straight into the movie since we're too tired to riff at the beginning.
Yeah, to riff at the beginning. Yeah, I'm way too tired for that.
All right, basic facts then.
So, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince is a 2009 movie, rated PG, which is actually interesting because like the two movies before it were both PG-13, and then they're like, yeah, let's make another PG one.
Let's make it PG, baby.
It's 153 minutes.
It's kind of hard to believe that this one's PG.
It was directed by David Yates. Yeah, right? It feels like such a PG-13 movie. The screenplay was by Steve Kloves, and of course it's based on the novel by J.K. Rowling.
Who'd have thought?
And as always, you guys should know the cast to this.
I was about to say, how many episodes have we done of this now? Like 4 or 5? 6?
Oh, look, the waitress is 4th billed on IMDb.
Wow.
It was nominated for 1 Oscar, being Best Achievement in Cinematography.
Yeah, the cinematography was really good in this. I just wasn't a fan of the lighting very much.
Yeah. And that's it for basic stuff.
Yeah. There you go. That's all you need to know. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yep. Tune in next week for the basic facts on all the movies.
We just go through every movie A through Z.
Exactly.
Giving basic facts.
Exactly.
Well, if it's all that unspecific, then I think we'll be good to go.
I rated this as for basic thoughts. I rated this 4.5.
You really did.
I really like this. I really like this movie. I think it only has a couple problems here and there, and nothing big enough to make me take it down a bunch.
I see.
What about you?
That's it. Okay.
They're basic thoughts.
Oh, yeah. I gave it 4 out of 5. I'm so edging on 3.5. It's like 3.5 on a bad viewing and 4 on a good viewing. I don't know. That's how like in between I am on this star rating wise. But I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings towards this.
It's a weird movie.
I don't know. It's a really strange movie. Like, even for the Harry Potter franchise, it's just a strange film.
Yeah, and coming off of, like, if you actually watch this, like, back to back with, like, Goblet of Fire and Order of the Phoenix, you're like, what?
Yeah, Goblet of Fire and Order of the Phoenix are such denser, more concise films than this. This one has what feels like a lot of filler in it.
But like that filler is the movie.
Yeah, but like the filler is the movie. It's a very odd movie.
The movie pretty much practically feels like filler for the Deathly Hallows.
Yeah, it just kind of sets up everything that it needs for the Deathly Hallows to happen.
It was their last hoorah at Hogwarts before like super darkness, so they tried to really do just as much fun as they could.
And the tone balancing wasn't as bad as I remembered this time around.
Like, for switching between as drastic tones as they do, I don't think they do a bad job with it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I remember like not liking the tone balancing the first time the last time I watched it, not the first time. But I don't know, I actually enjoyed it a little this time.
Yeah,
So,
like I mean, it's not perfect, but I
No.
feel like they deal with it pretty well, all things considered.
a lot of the I think the only other thing I would mention is some of the scenes tend to drag on a little bit more than they need to.
We're sitting there watching it, and Robbie's like, "They've dedicated so much time to this scene."
Oh. Yeah, no, whenever a scene goes on too long in my mind, I'm like, why?
But
did
Robbie,
they
the
shoot
nice skin scene.
the nice
Such a
skin
good
scene.
scene.
All of most of Slughorn's scenes go on too long.
Yeah, that's true. He's there for a little bit too long.
I don't know. You can just go through the whole movie and pick out scenes where they could have just trimmed off a couple of seconds and it would have made it flow much better.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go into questions.
Questions.
Yes. Let's start out with the classic. What's your favorite scene or sequence?
Classic cop out, more like.
Oh, okay.
Favorite scene or sequence? Oh gosh. It has to be one of the high school shenanigans
The
kind
high
of
school
things.
shenanigans.
But I can't think of one that like sticks out immediately. I'll have to think for a second.
I know what mine is automatically.
Well, then
but-
just do yours. Maybe that'll
All
be
right.
mine.
My favorite scene or sequence is the sequence when he takes Liquid Luck.
Oh yeah.
I love that so much. Like, it's like top Harry Potter for me. It's got some of the most energy I've ever seen in a movie.
Okay, yeah, I will. I think I'll probably choose that too. I forgot about that. That stretch of film needs to be immortalized or something.
Right?
Get just that couple minutes of this movie on the Criterion Collection.
Harry. Sir.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I love it.
If I could just swoop in and save one scene from this movie, it would be that.
Well, then by all means, come with me, sir.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good.
Indeed.
Like, Harry, poof, poof. But that's life. Oh.
Yeah. All right. You
Man.
chose the best scene, Micah.
All right. Do you have a
can't complain.
question?
How did you feel? Spoilers for the movie and for Harry Potter.
Spoiler.
How did you feel they handled Dumbledore's death, like his actual death scene? Because to me, it's always felt kind of
I feel like
oddly
I
rushed.
feel like the
I don't know.
scene itself
Yeah.
was good, but they needed to have slightly more build up to it. Like they have a little bit, and Harry's like, and Dumbledore's like, "Oh, I forgot how much you've grown." Blah blah blah. But
Forgot
it's like,
how much you've grown.
but it's like less than a minute of dialogue before they're like, "Oh, hide."
Time to die.
Exactly. Like I don't know. I always felt like the scene was fine, and it may feel rushed because they're supposed to be rushed.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. There's just always been something kind of unsatisfying about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something kind of incomplete about
like
it.
I said, I felt like there should be like more build up for Harry specifically.
Yeah. I don't know. So much of this runtime feels like it's doing nothing.
But yet it's doing something at the same time.
Yeah, because I was about to say, just dedicate some of the other stuff. Like, just cut out some other stuff and put some more time towards
There's
Harry and
nothing you
Dumbledore.
can really cut
But
out.
it's hard to cut stuff out in this.
But it's... Yeah, like...
But it's hard to say any of it's doing stuff.
Because, like, if you've watched this movie... I haven't read the Half-Blood Prince book.
Yeah, neither have I. I
But-
stopped right before Half-Blood Prince in my
But,
reading.
like, I feel like the book would have a lot to do with the Half-Blood Prince. This movie cares 0% about the Half-Blood Prince.
Gives zero craps about the Half-Blood Prince.
0% about the Half-Blood
I
Prince.
think the Half-Blood Prince is mentioned 3 times in this
Right?
movie.
Like, they're like, Harry's like, I'm not gonna say who it's from, and then Ginny takes it, and she's like, who's the Half-Blood Prince? And then Hermione's like, the Half-Blood Prince.
The Half-Blood Prince. There is no such prince.
And then it cut to a later scene. I looked everywhere, and I saw no mention of the Half-Blood Prince. And then cut to the end of the movie, and Snape's like, I am the Half-Blood Prince, and that's it.
That's the movie.
So, like, it takes all of the stuff that would be a normal Harry Potter movie and normal driving stuff, and it doesn't focus on it, and it focuses on, like, a bunch of side elements.
Yeah, this one where a lot of, I think all of the Harry Potter movies just about are mystery movies, but I don't know about the Deathly Hallows ones. I haven't watched them in a while. Mysteries. But most of the regular school year ones are mystery movies at their core, and this one just isn't. It just kind of abandons its book-based question mark.
Like they set it up just like normal. Like, what is the Half-Blood Prince? Where did Harry get this mysterious book that helps him so much?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Like, every time it's like, oh, where's the Chamber of Secrets?
Yeah,
who's petrifying everyone? What's the Philosopher's Stone?
What's the Philosopher's Stone? What's happening? Why is Harry part of the Goblet of Fireness?
There's always one major question mark that the screenplay is built around, and this time they just kind of gloss over it.
I guess a little bit less. So, like, I'm trying to think of a main question mark for Order of the Phoenix, because that's the one where they're like, what do we do now that Voldemort's back?
Yeah.
Not really as much of
less so.
Let's figure out something. It's more like, how the heck do we convince everybody that Cedric Diggory was killed by Voldemort?
But Order of the Phoenix is a lot less school-based than this one is.
Yeah.
And I feel like when they're at Hogwarts in that setting, there's usually a big question mark that they're trying to figure out the answer to.
In this one, I feel like it gives more screen time to Ron and Hermione and Harry's romance affairs,
which, I mean, is pretty golden stuff.
No, it's great, don't get me wrong, than like any sort of like main plot in this movie.
Yeah, it's so weird,
which sounds like it shouldn't work, but I feel like it does work for this movie. Like, it's a weird feeling, but it's still an enjoyable movie, and you don't get tired of, like,
this movie is such a weird energy.
It's like an anomaly of a movie where, like, all of the energy from this movie is so whack, and I don't know. Well, anyway, I'm gonna ask a question now.
Okay.
Since we've gone off for, like, 5 minutes without asking a question, what do you think of the Harry-Ginny relationships stuff in this movie?
You know, as much as it makes me cringe, it's all right.
Oh,
you
no,
know?
look what's in the picture.
Oh no. Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't have too much to say about it. It's just kind of all right.
I think my biggest thing for it is, like, all of it has a cringy vibe.
It all has the cringe energy that we need.
Yeah, like, it's hilarious, and I feel like it shouldn't inherently be hilarious. But, like, it's been commented on so many times, like the open up you.
The open up you.
Where she gives him the cookie thing, and he takes the smallest bite imaginable.
Bite.
Like, the last thing he wanted to do in the whole world was take a bite of that cookie.
It's so funny.
And then, like,
I swear.
And then, like,
the shoelace is untied.
The shoelace. She's like, your shoelace. And it's just awkward. And then their kiss. And she's like, I could be hidden up here if you want. What?
Steve Kloves, what were you thinking?
I don't know. Like, it works in movie.
Yeah, it fits with the weird tone of the movie, but at the same time, it doesn't really feel like... I don't know. It
feels weird to just watch. Like, if you put that romance stuff in any of the other Harry Potter movies around this section, it would feel so out of place.
And a lot of it feels kind of just... I don't know. It feels rushed to me. I don't know. But then again, a lot of the stuff in these movies feel rushed.
They dedicate, like, 3 scenes to it anyway.
Yeah. I was about to say, a lot of the scene, like, a lot of the stuff in these movies feel rushed because the books are longer and they have more time to flesh stuff out.
Yeah. Do you have a question?
Draco, my boy.
Draco, me boy.
What did you think of Draco in this movie? He's kind of serves an odd purpose this one.
I've always actually thought that this is one of like my favorite Draco movies. I'm not a big Draco fan, but this is like his least annoying movie.
The Draco stands, Mike. They've come out of the woodwork.
Hey man, that Quinquero video was good. But anyway, like Draco isn't.
Are they a Draco stan, Micah?
No.
Some of the Draco stands are great people, Mike.
I knew some back at school.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But because Draco is so wrapped up with his side mission, he isn't actively trying to antagonize Harry. So he's really not all that annoying in this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
is he more just devious in this movie?
I'm like, yeah, I can get behind Draco, but just in this movie because like in Order of the Phoenix, he's annoying, and then in Goblet of Fire, he's annoying. Cause like, oh yeah, in Order of the Phoenix, he's especially annoying. By the way. So yeah. But like this movie, you're like, yeah.
You just rate all of the Harry Potter movies based on how annoying Draco is.
Yeah, and Order of the Phoenix would get top.
Wow. Wow. I haven't. Like I said, I haven't seen the Deathly Hallows. I don't know where they'd rank.
He's hardly really in it.
Oh.
And he's all just sad boy through the whole thing.
Sad boy hours and entire time.
And then awkward hug from Voldy.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's all Draco really does.
Oh yeah,
Hallows.
I forgot about that. That's coming up. Get to dissect that on the podcast.
Indeed.
Did I have another question?
No, you didn't answer your own question.
Did I not? Well, oh yeah,
what do you
Draco
think of Draco?
He serves his plot purposes, and that's about it. I almost wish he was in it a little more. You know, I kind of miss him in this one. He's not in it for much of the runtime.
Yeah.
And I actually enjoy
again, like he's more main Harry Potter plot focused, so this movie doesn't want him. Exactly.
Yeah. This movie doesn't really have much to do with the traditional structure of a Harry Potter movie. So
okay, what just like in the Draco section of conversation, what do you think about the bathroom fight scene where it literally looks like they're in a black and white movie?
It's all right. I don't know. I wish they would. I don't know. I wish they would tighten up the editing in that a little bit.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, like it looks black and white, like it just does with a blue hue.
So it's like Minority Report.
Yeah, but worse. Like it's more black and white than Minority Report.
More desaturated than Minority Report.
The only color you can actually see is red when
Draco
is bleeding.
I see. Yeah, I don't know. I think it works pretty well. I don't mind it.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I just thought it was like really weird. Like
it was an odd choice.
It's always jarring to me because you go into that like all the flashback scenes and all of like because through the watching the memory stuff, they all have a hue of green and they're all desaturated, which is fine because they're flashbacks and
wow. And it's just okay.
It's a different stylized take on what it looks like because it's the flashback.
The supreme leader of whether a cinematic style is okay.
But then like it has I'm saying that has a purpose, and then you come into the bathroom scene and they're just so pale, and you're like, what? Like Draco's always pale, but then it cuts to Harry and he's just as white as Draco, and you're like, what?
Are you just complaining that there's too many white people in this movie?
You know, that could be a very legitimate complaint I could make for this movie.
Yeah.
There are a lot of white people in this movie.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. It didn't bother me.
Yeah, it was just like I wanted to hear your thoughts
a note
kind of thing. Cause I just thought I think it's weird. It doesn't bother me.
Just thought it was an odd choice.
Yeah.
They took some risks, Micah. Did they pay off? We'll see.
I don't know how to answer that.
Only time will tell, Mike.
All right. Well, what did you think of the cinematography?
Cinematography. I could see why it was nominated.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites for cinematography.
They have a lot of depth of focus kind of shots, which I enjoy a lot of the time. Like the shallow depth of focus.
Yeah. See,
they use it to highlight the foreground and the relation to the background a lot in this movie. Like a lot. Which is one of my favorite like types of shots. So I mean, I don't know. I was kind of into this movie, you know?
Yeah. See, one thing, because like the other real comparable thing, cinematography-wise, like the only other Harry Potter movie that you think of when you think cinematography is Azkaban. But I like the cinematography a little bit more because I feel like it's less show-offish than Azkaban is.
Well, the cinematography in Azkaban serves a much different purpose than in this movie.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like, oh...
Aesthetically,
yes,
we're
going through windows and mirrors.
We're going through
all the film boys are gonna be
all the film boys.
They're gonna be all over this mirror at the end of the whole. Guys freak out because the whole scene takes place in a mirror, and we care because
it's awesome.
Yeah, but it's like you're like, yeah, that's cool, I guess, but it means nothing and it adds nothing. So yeah.
It was so good.
I hate that people like go on and on and on about the stupid mirror.
How did they shoot it, Micah? How did they shoot it?
They just shot it mirrored and then used the CG and the camera movements to make it look like it went through the mirror.
How did they do it?
It really wouldn't be hard.
The mirror shots are so cool. I kid you not. What was I saying?
Cinematography is what we were talking about.
The cinematography is really good. It always when it's not dealing with school shenanigans, it always serves a really succinct narrative purpose.
Well, see, I think that is the narrative purpose. It's like it's very like there for when like things are actually important going down, and then when school shenanigans are happening, it's just like
floating around.
The camera is just kind of like there,
hanging out, you know.
And the lighting is a lot different whenever they're doing school shenanigans as well.
It's so weird. Just make two different cuts of this movie where all of the plot stuff actually goes into just one cut. It's like 10
be like 10 minutes. Yeah, there wouldn't be much.
And
in
then
that.
The school shenanigans gets its own cut.
And that would be like most of the movie.
That would be hilarious.
Oh boy.
All right. That's what we need.
That's what we need.
Special edition.
Do you want to make a cut of the movie?
Yeah. There you go. I'll just pirate the movie and make my own cut.
There you go. All right. Do you have any more questions?
I do have one more question, Micah. I forget what it is though.
Wowza.
How did you feel they handled the setup of Horcruxes in this? Because this is really the first time they mention them by name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like honestly they could have done a little better.
A little better? I don't know. I don't know. Here, say what you were gonna say.
Like with the rest of this movie, it feels like it doesn't care too much about it. And, like, I'm sure in the book it was a big thing that the Horcrux that they actually spent all of that time to get, and, like, that, you know, was awful for Dumbledore to get, ended up just being, like, a fake. And, like, everything...
someone else had just gotten to it first.
Yeah, and everything else, like, I don't know, like, there was, like, 2 scenes where they were actually, like, Dumbledore and Harry were actually like, well, this is this, and I'm going after these.
This is this, and I am going after
we have to destroy them. Instead, everything else is just, like, Harry trying to get Slughorn to just tell him that, yeah, I told him how to split his soul 7 ways. And I don't know, I just feel like there should be more weight to it with how much weight the Horcruxes hold in the Deathly Hallows and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Like, the Deathly Hallows, pretty much, like, the first one is pretty much just Horcrux.
It's Horcrux the movie.
Yeah, it's Horcrux the movie. It really is. And,
wow.
like, I feel like there needed to be a little bit more set up for that, but I don't know.
If you think about it, Micah, this entire franchise is Horcrux the movie.
Yeah, not gonna spoil that. Just for all you listeners like our mom who haven't watched The Deathly Hallows yet.
It was Peter Pettigrew. He's been the Horcrux this whole time.
No, you're wrong.
Peter Pettigrew.
Peter Pettigrew. All that was left. A finger.
A finger.
And what Scabber's missing? A toe.
I swear, Azkaban is so good, Mike.
Oh, Gary Oldman's best role.
I don't think anyone's going to argue that. Dang, bro, I just want to watch Azkaban again. Take me back.
I really don't like Azkaban
Take
that
me
much,
back.
man. Alright, well, anyway, what do you think of Horcruxes? Because you haven't really said much.
How they're dealt with?
Yeah, how they're dealt with.
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like they do... Like you said, I feel like they should have more narrative weight in this one than they do.
Because this movie is so unconcerned with any of that.
Yeah, it's odd. Like, when it wants to be concerned with it, it's like, yeah, we're doing this now. And then it just goes back to the school shenanigans once again after it's done. I don't know. Like I said, it feels split, but while you're watching it, it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, it works so well for some reason.
It's so odd. Which probably comes down to the editing, honestly.
Yeah.
Which was pretty good, but like I said, some of the scenes were just a little too long.
Yeah.
But the actual scene-to-scene pacing of it and overall pacing of the story is actually surprisingly good. It shouldn't work.
Yeah, no, it feels like it. Like you're like this is so like good. Why is this working? What do you think about like? I'm trying to remember. Like the rush from school shenanigans to the getting the Horcrux, well, the fake Horcrux. Like, what do you like that? Just that specific scene to scene.
I don't remember what scene comes before it.
Neither do I. But
Wow.
I'm saying like I don't know. Doing the viewing yesterday, I felt like, wow, we just went from like 0 to like a billion in no time.
Went from why does Ron hate me to Dumbledore screaming in a cave like in 2 minutes.
Yeah, like screaming for Harry to kill him because the potions.
Indeed.
But I don't know, like it just felt like an odd. It still wasn't one that I was like, oh, this is awful. It just felt odd, and I feel like it just sums up a lot of the movie of being just like.
Odd. Yeah,
that's really the best way to describe this movie.
Odd, but it shouldn't work, but it works.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, more power to it. I wish there were more movies like this.
Right?
with this kind of chaotic energy that we needed.
All right, okay, this is an interesting thing. Oh, well, I guess you should ask your question first if you have one.
Oh, no, I don't have any.
All right, what do you think of, like, the fact that, like, a lot of the side characters that were established and used in the last 2 movies are not used at all?
Wouldn't it be nice if it all just blew away?
Like, it's
where's Cho, honestly?
Right? Where's Cho? Give me Cho.
What happened? Supposedly she's in the credits for this? Like, she's in the cast, but we missed her? Question mark?
I did not see Cho once. But like, yeah, like there were a lot of characters that are there, and then like in this movie, I don't see Cho in the cast
really?
on here.
Someone had said she was in there, but I don't know. I never looked actually. I don't know.
But like, I don't know. It feels like there are so many friends and everything, and even Draco has 2 new friends that you've never seen before. Until this movie,
Oh, yeah. What is it? Flame or something?
Blaze. Yeah, it was like Blaze.
Blaze.
Yeah, right? It was Blaze, right?
Yes. I said Flame. Yes.
And, and then also, what's her face? What is her name? I'm trying to find her name. Like a Lavender or something.
Blaze and Lavender?
No. I'm talking about, the one girl. Cho is in the credits.
See? I told you. I have no
Why?
idea where she is in this movie, but she's in the credits.
What?
We need to go through shot by shot and see where she
Right?
is.
I need to
Find her.
find her.
Try and find her.
But yeah, there's the two of them with Draco, but then there's also like Lavender or whatever with Ron that we've never seen or heard of before in the history of Harry Potter.
Oh my gosh. How would you like to get that part, Micah?
Right? Imagine being
that
cast
part
as her.
So funny.
I saw like several reviews being like, this is just like Harry Potter and the hormones.
Harry Potter and the hormones. I mean, that's pretty accurate for this movie, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Harry Potter, horror and hormones.
Horror and hormones.
I said hormones. Hormones.
Wow.
I forgot there was an R in it, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just weird that it feels like it forgot the last two movies.
It's weird.
Like, because the rating drops back down to PG.
Yeah, PG.
And like it feels like it. I don't know. It really does feel like if it wasn't for all of the main story elements and them being so much older, if you did the cut of cutting everything main story out of it, you could put this after Azkaban, and it would probably fit better.
Wow. I mean, you're not necessarily wrong.
Because I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it cares about the characters or the things main plot-wise that have happened. Like, we had sad boy Harry coming off of Cedric being killed right in front of him.
Just keep yawning again.
And Voldemort comes back. And then, big fight, Sirius dies. And then they're finally...
Sirius dies.
Like, Sirius... This movie opens up with the shot of, like, Harry's dazed face from Sirius dying.
Which is a 10 of 10 opening shot.
But they talk about Sirius, like, once in the whole movie.
Slughorn mentions Sirius.
And it's just Sirius by association. He mentions Sirius's brother and is like, oh, yeah, you probably know Sirius.
He's dead.
He's dead.
You probably know Sirius. He's dead.
And that's it. Like, that kills me, and I'm sure it's a big element of the book. If not, J.K. Rowling's a worse writer than I thought.
Which at this point...
Yeah, let's take J.K. Rowling with a cup of tea, okay?
The death of the author, Micah. Is that what you wish to employ?
Sure.
All right.
But yeah, like, I don't know. It just seems like important stuff like that is just pushed to the side in this movie, which sounds like a bad thing, but for some reason it doesn't feel like a bad thing in movie, and I don't know why.
Jeez, I can't stop yawning today. Sorry to keep interrupting your rants with my yawning.
You're good. Do you have any?
I'm just so bored.
Do you have any other thoughts to the matter? Any other Harry Potter thoughts?
Just closing thoughts about it.
Yeah, just because I've kind of run out of questions.
If
and you said you ran out of questions. So
if I just kind of
thoughts you have
summed up what I kind of thought about this. I don't know. This is the most split I am on any of the Harry Potter movies so far.
I think this is the weirdest of Harry Potter.
I'm just so like, it's good, but it's not good, but it is good.
Bro, the actress who played Cho hasn't really played anything else.
Is it T2? She's in T2.
She is
not Terminator 2, by the way, guys. Something else. But yes, I had forgotten those movies existed. Who did those? Is that Soderbergh?
No.
No. All right. Well, never mind then.
They're Danny Boyle.
Danny Boyle? Oh, okay. I had forgotten about those movies. But, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, this is the one I have the most mixed feelings about so far. Because there's a lot of stuff I like, a lot of stuff I don't like. But at the same time, it still all works.
See, for me, there's not a lot of stuff that I don't like. But there's a lot of stuff that I find weird.
But
it's still odd. Like, yeah, like I don't not like
odd choice, but okay.
Pretty much all of the elements of this movie. I'm like, yeah, this is good. But like, it's just so weird.
It's like, just so weird.
This movie is such an anomaly in the Harry Potter franchise.
Indeed.
Like this feels almost as disconnected from Harry Potter as like Fantastic Beasts feels disconnected from Harry Potter, but like this one actually
a bold statement, Micah.
but this one is actually like good.
I see.
Like it's still Harry and Hermione and Ron and like Dumbledore, but like other than that, like it just isn't. It doesn't feel like it belongs in order, like in the order of Harry Potter that it was going in.
Like in conclusion, it's weird.
Yeah, I mean that's really all the thoughts I have on it. I really enjoy it. And like it's like I laugh out loud quite consistently at this movie.
When they talk about how old Dumbledore is, Micah?
No. No, why'd you have to... Okay, so there are a couple moments that have been recorded in Harry Potter history where the three main cast, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, the three of them, which by this point, they were good friends. They have spent years of their lives now working on these movies. They were good friends. And then in two scenes that I think that's only two scenes. Not one is in this movie and one is in I think Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
They laugh at something, and it is the worst acted laugh I have ever seen in a movie. Like I'm, like as acting goes, I'm really bad at fake laughing.
I mean, who isn't?
But like this is worse than me.
Like this scene is worse than mine somehow.
Oh, like man, I don't know why, but like yeah, they make a joke about Dumbledore's age, and then they just sit there and like they're like, and you're like what? But that's
what are you
beside
saying?
the point. That's a side note.
Yeah. All right. Do you wanna get into what we watched this week, Micah?
Don't we have to rank the Harry Potter movie first?
This might be a new high, Micah.
I hope so.
Might be a new high. Oh, bumped the mic there.
Well, we could just cut that out.
All right, we're experiencing some technical difficulties. Right. I'm not cutting that out, Micah.
So,
that's genuine. That's genuine
so
cinema,
I gave it 4.5, and you gave it 4,
yeah.
so it ties with Azkaban.
Dang.
With an 8.5.
Yeah. Wait, didn't I give Azkaban 5? Oh, but did you give it
3.5?
Oh my gosh. The nerve of this man.
I really think it's a 3.5.
The nerve
movie.
of this man.
I think it's a 3.5 movie. All right. So now, in order, we have at the very bottom Goblet.
Who decides that Phoenix goes above Philosopher and that Half-Blood goes above Azkaban?
Nobody. It's just that was for convenience
it's
of writing.
Tier list.
I kid you not. That was for convenience of writing,
tier
to where I
list.
didn't have to erase this.
All right.
Because I've been writing them pretty much up because they get better as they go along, except for Goblet. So yeah, at the very bottom we have Goblet at 5.5 with our combined rating. So
5.5 out of 10. This is out of 10.
Is our two ratings shoved
added together.
So
it's pretty much an out of 10 score.
Yeah. So Goblet gets 5.5 out of 10. Then next, Chamber of Secrets with 6.
6, yeah.
Yeah. Then next, Philosopher's Stone with 7.5.
It's a pretty good movie.
Then Order of the Phoenix tying with that with 7.5. Then Azkaban with 8.5, and Half-Blood Prince tying with that with 8.5.
Can I lower my rating?
No. That's what I said when Azkaban has been so far our undefeated top. I don't like that movie at all.
Azkaban just needs to be like a half point higher.
No, it shouldn't. It should be lower. I'm really hoping that at least Deathly Hallows Part 2 will get higher.
I'll rate it 2.5.
I gave it 5 stars, so I'm hoping you'll come to your senses and maybe we can get something that beats...
I'll just rate it 2.5, Micah.
Oh my gosh. Maybe we can get something that beats stupid Azkaban.
All right.
I watched nothing this week.
I've watched starting on the 1st of this month, because we did our last episode on like the 30th, right?
Let's see. Yeah. I've watched 4 things, counting Half-Blood Prince. So yeah.
All right. I've watched 5 things.
Wow.
So, including that.
And ours don't cross over at all, except for Half-Blood Prince.
All right, shoot. Then let's just talk about them individually. Do you want to go by day?
Go in day order, yeah.
All right. On the first of this wonderful month we like to call July.
Wowza.
I watched 42nd Street for the first time. It's a 1933 musical, kind of. It's like one of those musicals that it's a musical in the actual narrative. They're just performing musical numbers. So it's like
it's not a musical then.
They're doing well, yeah, no, it doesn't take place in the meta narrative at all. Like none of the music takes place.
So it's not it's a music.
No, it's a music.
It's a musical.
It's a musical movie. It's a movie about a musical.
Yeah,
a stage musical. And it formed. I'd imagine this is probably one of the most influential like movie musicals ever made. It has a lot of stereotypes in it that I am imagining were probably like mostly formed by this movie.
It's like Coco and Robbie.
Like
it's not a musical, it's a musical.
Like
movie.
the over-dedicated directors in this, the star having to bow out on the opening night with the protege underneath. like a bunch of like stereotypical stuff that would now be like, okay, come on, guys.
Was it made, you said 33?
Yeah, 33,
yeah,
1933.
So that really must have been like
of the first. It has a lot of stuff like that in it where that's just like fallback plot now.
Yeah, that's like the basics.
It was pretty good. It had some good numbers.
Did you say what you rated it out of
5? I gave it 3 out of 5. But the pacing was pretty meh most of the time. But that happens with a lot of old movies.
Yeah. I just yawned.
Not all old movies, though. We're getting to that. Yeah, I don't know. I had a lot of problems with it. The final sequence in this is really good, but outside of that, it's all just pretty mediocre to all right.
Then you watched something on the second, so you're still there before me.
All right. On the second, I watched Casablanca for the second time. This one, it doesn't do much for me. This is one of the few film classics where I'm just kind of like, all right, yeah, it's important to the history of film, but I don't know.
I mean, I know a lot of people who don't like this movie that much. Like, they give it around like a 3.5.
Yeah, I gave it a 3.5. I don't know why it's still so highly regarded. Which, I mean, it's not bad by any stretch. I gave it 3.5. That's like almost a 4 stars. That's a 7 out of 10. Yeah,
but like this movie, everybody is like, 5 stars for this.
Its screenplay is really, really good. But I just think it lacks in direction, and a lot of its pacing is really whack. Like just scene stuff, and for a movie that's mostly dialogue scenes, you just need I think
good pacing.
Yeah, I think they just needed better pacing. That's I don't know. I get bored like 90% of the time I watch this movie, and as a person who watches a lot of old movies, it takes a lot to get me bored of an old movie, because I usually really love them. But I don't know, this one, I don't know. I doubt I'll ever watch this again unless it's for a film class or something.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a fan of it, even on a second watch.
All right. Well, time to... Okay, so our mom listens to this podcast, and we talk about her rather frequently in this section, because a lot of these movies
are
we
not
turn on
ones
that we would turn on without her.
Because
and she's like,
she wants to watch something.
You give me such a bad name. Like, I only turn on bad movies. Well, the only movies I watched were ones that she turned on, and they were pretty much all bad.
Wow.
So
what are you saying, Micah? What are you saying?
I'm saying that she turns on bad movies.
Wow.
So on the 3rd, yes.
The 3rd. I watched something on the 3rd as well.
Actually, I think this was technically the night of the second. It was like 2 a.m. or something when we finished this movie. We watched The Glass House. And this movie was awful, like just really bad.
Straight up bad.
It was supposed to be a thriller, but like everything about it was like it wasn't necessarily lacking tension, but it wasn't the kind of tension it wanted. It was more like creepy tension, like creepy, like not in like threatening way, but like
just kind of creepy,
like don't like that kind of
and not in a good way,
like the whole movie was just like bad vibes, but not the kind of bad vibes you want from a thriller.
Wow.
And the story was very convoluted, and the pacing was horrible. And like whoever structured this movie should be fired.
Wow. Not even given a second chance, just fired.
I don't know, man. Like, there was pretty much nothing redeemable about this movie, and like it was a very 2000, like early 2000s movie.
Wait, when did this come out?
2001.
Oh no!
It was a very early 2000s movie, and yikes. It wasn't good. I gave it 2 stars.
Well, there you go.
Then what did you watch on the third?
I watched my favorite movie of all time. I can't believe it. I was so happy.
Wowza.
I literally almost cried at the opening scene. I was so happy to watch this movie.
Scene.
I needed this viewing of it. I needed it.
Oh, okay, whatever you say.
Gave it was La La Land, guys. La La Land's my favorite movie. I cried tears of joy. I cried tears of sorrow.
Did you actually cry?
Yes, I did.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, I love this movie so much. You guys need to watch La La Land if you haven't seen it.
It's a good movie. Okay, don't get me wrong with my reaction here. It's a good movie. I gave it 5 stars. I think it's a really
He rated it higher than I did.
I think it's a really good movie, but he rambles on and on about it. It kills me.
So much.
I even made a video about it being good on my channel, and he still talks about it more than I do.
I love this movie so much. Guys, it's so good. I wish it was perfect. I really do, so I could give it 5 stars and be like, my favorite movie is perfect. But it's not.
I can't think of a reason that it's not perfect.
I don't know. It's just not there.
I mean,
it's not a 5-star movie.
No movie is perfect.
I don't know how to explain it.
I really think 5 stars comes, like, the 5-star comes down to preference in my mind, because, like, 4.5 and 5 are very close, obviously. And I feel like 4.5s can be a very similar quality-wise to 5s. It's really just like, oh, do you like that extra oomph? Do you think it is worthy of the extra oomph of 5 stars?
And see, I don't know. I still don't know. I'm gonna have to watch this like 15,000 times probably before I can figure out why I don't want to give it 5 stars. But for some reason, like, I can't. When I rated it 5 stars originally, I'm like, no, it's not a 5-star movie. I don't know why.
I don't know why that is.
I think it's partially the writing of the ending is a little underwhelming, honestly, with how much they get you invested in the characters. I think they could have written something much more like heart-wrenching than in that, and it's already very heart-wrenching. But I don't know. It's just lacking that like 5-star oomph, you know? But I love this movie. I adore this movie. I would die for this movie. Well, maybe not die for it, but I would if I could pick one movie to watch for the rest of my life, it would be this for sure.
All right.
For sure.
Anyway, so one of the reasons I've watched so few movies before I get into the next movie that I watched is because I'm actually in the crunch week of my theater production, which, if you don't know what that is, that's like
the crunch week.
The week before the show, where you spend like more hours than you ever did before working on it. So I have, what is it?
What
12
is it?
to 9, so that's like 9 hours.
Yeah, he's gonna be at theater by the time this thing comes out. This episode.
9 hours today, 9 hours tomorrow, 9 hours.
That's longer than my work shift.
That, and we had a 9-hour day a couple days ago too.
Wow. I never want to be a theater kid. Don't make me. You can't make me.
It's fun.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. All right. Well, anyway, the next movie I watched was Sucker Punch.
Didn't you miss most of it?
I missed. No, not most of it. I watched more than half of it. I missed like the first like 20-something minutes of it. But it was kind of disappointing. I always am like Zack Snyder is such a weird thing for me. I don't like any of his DC movies at all.
Zack Snyder,
really. Like, Man of Steel is okay. Like, I think that's an okay movie, but I'm not gonna say it's good.
Jacob Suggs is screaming into his laptop right now, like.
And the only other Zack Snyder movies I've watched were Legends of the Guardians of Ga'Hoole.
We have to watch BVS and do it on here sometime.
Or is it Legends of the Guardians of the Owls?
What?
Legend of the Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole. Sorry.
What the? I think the book title is just Guardians of Ga'Hoole.
Yeah,
right?
I think it is. Yeah. So I was like, oh yeah, Sucker Punch looks pretty good.
Oh yeah, Sucker Punch looks pretty good.
And then it wasn't.
What?
It was. I think this review that I found describes it pretty well. Is like watching your friend you don't really like play a video game for a couple hours. It's really
that sounds like a very apt description of a Zack Snyder movie.
like it really like this movie more so than any of the DC movies that I've seen is so action focused.
That's funny.
I
want to see it.
And the action is so stylized to the point where it doesn't like it makes you numb to action. Like it really does. Like it's so much slow-mo and so many close-ups. And that's all the action is slow-mo.
Does it have a lot of like fast smash cuts in it?
I'm trying to think. I mean, like, I don't think so, actually.
Because that drives me crazy.
I think it keeps pretty smooth with its cuts. It's just all slow motion and all, like, 2 inches from people's faces.
Oh, that's kind of annoying.
And it feels like you're, like, 2 inches from the action, and it feels so crammed. And
Does it just feel like a QuickTime event all the time?
Yeah, it feels like you're in a video game doing QuickTime events. I kid you not. And the story is weird. I don't know.
There's something about parallel universes, I think.
The whole
alternate universes.
No, you don't know the story.
No, I have no clue what the story's about.
She's put in an insane asylum by her.
It's a great way to kick
by
off
her abusing uncle.
Oh wow!
To make her to where she gets a lobotomy and can't do anything about the abuse.
I see.
And then this movie takes place in 2 layers inside her head.
What? It's like the inception of Zack Snyder.
So there are 3 layers to this. We have
the dream starts collapsing, Micah.
We have actual happening stuff
I see.
In the asylum. Then we have the Gentleman's Club stuff.
What?
And then we have the action stuff.
Wait, why is it called Sucker Punch?
I don't know.
Wow.
And
I don't know.
And it just really is unsatisfying, and it just the action was pretty much all it was focused on.
Okay, I need to watch this movie.
I think
now.
I probably would have given it like a 2.5 though.
But you haven't seen the first time.
Yeah, because I haven't seen the first
third.
30 minutes or so. I didn't rate it.
I see.
But your movie would be next.
All right. I watched, for the very first time, I'd been wanting to watch this for forever, my very first German film, guys. It was a big stepping stone for me as an American film viewer. I watched M. I think it's a 1931 film, if I remember.
Criterion release?
Yes, the Criterion release, baby.
Wowza.
It's so good. It's really good. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert, M is really good. It's about this German, who would have thought, who murders children. And like this whole city is in hysteria because there's a murderer running around and they have no idea who it is.
Wait, is the murderer man from Arsenic and Old Lace?
Yeah, he's the murderer.
Oh,
yeah, I didn't see that one coming. Actually,
didn't think of it. I didn't think that would happen.
But when he wasn't in like the first 30 minutes of the movie, I'm like, where is he? Like he's on the cover, and then
like, where is he?
And then it cuts to him one time. I'm like, oh, he must be the murderer, I guess.
You're like, oh, I didn't realize that was what we were doing.
But yeah, no, it had some fantastic cinematography, Dude, they did a through a window shot back then, like a long take through a window, and it was so freaking
nothing
cool.
will compare. I forgot what movie it was from. Did you see it was on Twitter for a while? I forgot what movie it was from. It was I guess it was I don't know if you'd call it a long take, but it was a shot.
Do they cut?
That went no, they don't cut.
Well then,
it was the shot that starts way back here, and what you want is way up here, and it's through like this. This diner
Micah,
thing.
That's like one of the most famous shots in all of history.
All the way, and I love that, and that's better than any window transition. I hate like how much people go on and on.
Think about this.
About going through windows with a camera.
This was the very early 30s, right around the birth of like mainstream films.
Yeah, I know,
And
but still.
it was insane. They went through the window and panned around, not cutting at all. Like, they went through it and panned around through the I don't know. I don't know how they did it back then. I don't know I don't know how they did it.
So then go on and on about that and not about stupid Azkaban.
But yeah, it's a pretty good movie. The only problem I had was it just kind of dragged a little in spots. The plot kind of seemed like filler sometimes, but honestly, I would watch it again. It's a good one. If you're looking for good foreign mystery films, this is one you should check out.
Well, if you're looking for good movies, this next one is not the one you should check out.
Wow.
So, The Witches is what I watched next. And if you don't know, Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl.
He has a book. He has a book called The Witches, and that's what this is based
only
off
one of the most famous children's writers of all time.
I love Roald Dahl's books. Don't get me wrong.
Did you ever read The Witches, Micah?
I did, yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. I just don't.
That's one of his worst ones.
His books translate to movies that well. It can be done. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Fantastic Mr. Fox. Those are amazing. Indeed. It can be done.
Matilda.
But BFG, James and the Giant Peach, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh my gosh.
Like, they're just
not Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
So many that I'm like, yikes. Also, there's an ECO Trot movie, and I didn't know that.
Okay,
I really want to watch it.
We need to watch
it.
Like,
ECO Trot is my favorite Roald Dahl book, but I think it only had a British release, which is why we had never heard of it. Anyway, I gave this movie, The Witches, 2 stars. I think the highlight of it was that Jim Henson did the puppet work in it. And
what puppets were in it?
So the main kid gets turned into a rat. I mean, not a rat, a mouse. And
yeah.
It's a really cute mouse puppet, and it just reminded me of Dark Crystal, and I'm like, oh, Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal. What a picture.
What a good show. What a good movie. Well, the movie's not that great.
The movie's all right.
The movie's fine. The show is really good.
The show is much better.
But man, just everything about this was not good. The comedy, the story, the characters, the cinematography, the lighting. The pacing was fine.
Mike was like, hey, the pacing was pretty good.
You know, like, the pacing was fine. Like, that was fine.
Wow.
I don't know.
Anything else?
I got bored enough with this movie that I started playing Borderlands while I watched it.
Wow.
So, yeah, I don't know.
You must have been pretty bored, Micah, to turn on Borderlands.
Yeah, one of my favorite games. 2 stars, yeah.
2 stars, all right.
You watched, like, one more thing, I think, right?
No, M was the last thing I watched before.
No, you said you watched 5.
Yeah,
oh, right,
5,
you did 2 before I did 1, yeah.
Yeah, 5 including Half-Blood Prince.
All right, well.
There we go.
We got to get a quote, and then we'll be done.
Whoa.
So
clocking in at 57 minutes right now.
Why don't you plug my channel while I find a quote?
Plug your channel? Yeah. Why not plug the actual podcast that people are on?
I've been asking myself that for 6 years.
If you want to check out Micah's channel, it's linked in the podcast description under Micah's stuff. Just click on the link that says YouTube.
I found it. I found the quote.
And if you want to see more info about the podcast, where to contact us, how you can get involved in the production of Recently Long.
How can you get involved?
How to suggest us movies. Go to my website.
How to ask to be on here.
RobbieGrayway.com/recently-logged.
We'd love to get some more guests, because as much as we like doing them with Luke, we want some variety.
Yeah, we have a lot of guests waiting.
No, I love doing it with Luke. I give him a hard time, still.
with the whole pandemic thing going on, I've been way busier and just more distracted than usual, and that's partially why we haven't had guests on.
And with theater, like with Crunch Week,
this week
I thought this had been like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, and then we're like, oh, it's time to do the podcast. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot we were even doing that, because it feels like it's been years since we've done an episode.
Yeah, we might go on like a month or so hiatus in this upcoming.
We're going on vacation.
Yeah, we're going on vacation pretty soon.
Go on vacation from the podcast.
Yeah,
depending. Depending on how we feel when we get there. Like, if we're like, oh yeah, we're doing the podcast would be fun and relaxing, then sure, because I think it can be. And we've done it on when we were in Florida before.
Yeah, we did charade while we were in Florida.
We did.
That was a fun one.
We did Spider-Man when we were in Florida.
Spider-Man. Oh yeah, for Thanksgiving. I was like, when were when? But yeah. Yo, go listen to our Raimi Spider-Man episode.
Yeah,
That's a fun one.
It was fun. It's one of our longest episodes ever.
Well, yeah, it was one of our most listened. Actually, on the podcasting side, it's our most listened to episode.
You know,
it's a pretty interesting one. I like it.
I don't like Spider-Man 2. 5 stars.
I really hate watching this movie. 5 stars. Yeah, that's Micah for you.
Well, anyway, I've got a quote. You have to be Hermione, but you don't get to choose.
What am I doing? What do I have to say? All right, hold on. Hey, she's only interested in you because she thinks you're the chosen one.
But I am the chosen one. and then I'm not gonna do the last part because
for reference, that's me smacking him in the head.
It wasn't a very convincing smack. Yeah, that's better.
Just to completely obliterate someone with a notebook.
Man, wow. Love this movie though, guys.
But I am the chosen one.
Lavender runs out sobbing, awkward silence. That's in the quotes.
90% of this movie. Awkward silence. All right. Well, goodbye, guys. We're
you know, she has nice skin.
She has nice skin. No.
So you think she's going out with it because she has nice skin.
Okay, to every female out there, this is not how guys talk. Well, maybe how some guys talk. Okay, I take it all back.
You've never been in the guys' cabin at camp. I mean,
she has
you have
nice skin,
but like you
nice
have
skin.
it, nice skin.
Yeah, you know.
So you think she's dating? She's with her because she has nice skin? Well, I'm just saying, it could be a contributing factor.
Oh my gosh,
Hermione's got nice skin. You know, as far as skin goes.
The amount of awkward silence and like
I love that scene.
Slowly sipping a drink, watching that scene.
I love that scene.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
Beautiful.
All right, bye guys. We keep apologizing to our guests that we never have them on and just never have them on.
Right.
it'll be our shtick. We'll just never actually have a guest again. Unless they come in the studio. You have to fly down to the studio for us to have you on.
We'll fly you out. We'll pay for the tickets.
What?
Robbie's got money, right?
Shoot, I keep on meaning to get ads in these things so we can start making some money off this. The cha-ching.
Cha-ching, cha-ching,
cha-chingery. There's nothing on earth like the feeling of green. Are you gonna? Is that what you're gonna do for your audition song?
Gonna be my audition song next year.
Cha-ching,
cha-ching. I'm just gonna walk in. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Yes. You'll be like, what are you performing from? I'm gonna be like, I'm doing a song from SpongeBob SquarePants
Season 2.